Welcome to your lesson. This is Ms. Saltstein. This lesson is on the volume of cones, and your curriculum does some pretty fancy math to kind of get you to this conclusion that's in this video. Okay, which is just that. Here, let me mute this. Just that it takes three cones of the same height and the same circular base to fill up a cylinder. Okay, and so that's why the formula is just the cylinder volume formula, and then it's got a 1/3 in front of it, which you can just divide by 3. If the 1/3 scares you, don't let it scare you. Taking a third of the volume is the same as the volume divided by 3. Same. In this lesson, they also show you the oblique cylinder. That's the or cone. That's the slanting cone, and it uses the same formula. Okay, so here they remind you that the top of the cone is called the apex. Okay, it's perpendicular to the circular base, and that the height is not the slant height. Okay, the height is straight up and down, just like just like a doctor measures your height. The doctor says stand up straight. So if this is Mr. Cone Man, Mr. Cone Man's height goes from his apex to his base. Okay, just like that. Okay, because this oblique cone is also going to have well, it's going to have like a lateral edge here and then a whole different one here. But so the actual height of the regular one goes through the center of the circle up to the apex, and in the oblique one you have to kind of do some fancier math to get that height. But anyway, let's kind of take this and look at some problems. We're still going to have that same issue that we have had this whole time of, are they giving you the diameter? Well, you got to cut it in half. Okay, so formula-wise, the volume is going to equal, again, so the cylinder volume was the area of the circular base, pi r squared, times the height. And now we're going to take a third of that. Okay, and if that scares you, you are just going to take the volume, pi r squared, height, and divide by 3. Same thing. Okay, so this problem here says we've got some kind of cone-shaped water tank, and we're going to make a liner for it. This is something if you were working in a manufacturing construction kind of job, you might do this kind of math to figure out your exact materials cost, especially if you were bidding for a really big project. Okay, so a water tank in the shape of a cone has a diameter. Yeah, see, diameter. So here's like the water tank. It's a water storage tank, and it's on the ground. Okay, it has a diameter of 12 and a height of 15. So they are giving us all the way across here. The diameter goes all the way across, and it's not the measurement we need. So we're taking note of that. Diameter is 12. Okay, the height is going to be from here to here, and they say that's 15. Okay, but we're going to find the radius. The radius is going to be the diameter cut in half. So the radius is 6. Find the volume of water in cubic feet that the tank can hold. Okay, round your answer to the nearest tenth. Use 3.14 for pi. Don't forget, if it says to use 3.14, you've got to use 3.14 or you'll get it wrong. Okay, don't use that little pi button on your calculator if it says use 3.14. So, volume is the area of the circular base times the radius squared times the height divided by 3. Okay, let's go ahead and substitute what we know. We know pi is 3.14. We know the radius, it's 6. So I've got to square it. We know the height, they told us in the problem right here. The height is 15. Okay, and you guys, I'm going to think about gems here. Gems, the order of operations. So, okay, let me move this up a little bit. I ran out of room here. So gems. So the order of operations says that we do grouping symbols first, like parentheses, or the square root sign is a grouping symbol. Okay, next we're going to do exponents. We've got that. We'll do that first. Okay, and then next we have multiplication and division, and we're going to just work from left to right. That's what Jem says to do, work left to right. Not, oh, we got to divide, multiply before we divide. No, we're going to work left to right once we get to that stage. So here we go. 6 to the second power is 6 times 6. That's 36. Remember, that's all I'm going to do in this step. I'm going to bring everything else down. Your notebook should be getting a workout in this unit and the next one, okay? You should be like running out of paper by the time you're done with these units. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and multiply, and I'm going to multiply 3.14 times 36 times 15. I'm going to multiply that whole chunk of multiply stuff all together, okay? So 3.14 times 36 times 15. You can see I entered it all together. So that's getting me 1,695.6. 1,695.6 is what I got. And again, what I did here, so first step was exponents. Second step was multiply. So this is what I did first, and this is what I got. And I used a calculator. Okay, now I'm going to divide by 3, and I'll do that in the calculator. And it said to round to the nearest tenth. So let's see if I get something rounded to the nearest tenth. Divide by 3, and this is what I get, 565.2. So it's already rounded. I don't need to round it. It's already to the correct decimal. 565.2. Okay. And they've written it here, but I'm going to remind you that if it's volume, we measure that in cubic feet, inches, whatever. Okay, so that would be my answer here, 565.2. This is one of your practice problems. It is problem 5. Now we have a hanging flower vase. Okay, a hanging flower vase is in the shape of a cone. I've actually seen some kind of like this before. I'll draw you a picture of one. It's in the shape of a cone with a radius. Oh, they gave me the radius. The radius is 5 inches and the height is 15 inches. All right, let me get a different color here. So here's what these look like. They'll have like this, and then it'll hang from like a chain on your patio, and then the flowers will like spill over the edge, and it looks really pretty. Okay, so it's in the shape of a cone. The radius is 5. The height is 15. All I have to do here is get my formula. Remember, that is the same as the volume of a cone. Area of the circular base, pi r squared, times the height, but then you've got to divide by 3, because the cone is only a third of the volume of the cylinder. Okay, now I'm going to substitute in the numbers that I know. I know they said use 3.14 for pi, so there's pi. I know the radius is 5, okay. They gave me the radius in the problem. Radius, Radius goes here. Okay. 5 squared times the height. The height they gave me in the problem too. The height was 15 inches. There it is there. Here it goes right here. Okay, the rest of this formula, guys, it doesn't change. It's the same every time you do these problems, okay? Pi is always right there in the front of the formula. Divided by 3 or times 1/3, that's always in the formula. That doesn't change. It doesn't matter what cone you have. Okay, I'm still going to be thinking about gems. E for exponents, M for multiplication and division. And again, we go from left to right. We don't have any subtraction or addition here. Let's go ahead and do the exponent first. 5 to the second power is 25 because that's 5 times 5. I'm going to bring everything else down. That's all I'm going to do in this step. Okay, now kind of just like before, I'm going to multiply all of this together in one big step in my calculator. Okay, and I'm going to enter it really carefully because if I hit even one wrong button, I'm going to mess this up. 3.14 times 25 times 15. Hey! Okay, there I go. 1,177.5. Okay, that's all I'm going to do in that step. I'm still working left to right here. Next I'm going to divide it by 3. I'll do that in the calculator and then I'll be done. So it's still here on the calculator, so I can just hit divide by 3. Okay, and that saves me a little trouble. And then I get this answer, which is exactly what I was supposed to get. Yay! I love when that happens. Okay, 392.5. 392.5. This is volume, and it's measured in inches. So cubic inches, volume. There we go. Okay. Hey, look at this. Is there a distractor answer where they forgot to divide by 3? Yes, yes, there is. So write your formula down so you don't forget any steps. And that's it for today.